patriarch and matriarch of our family reunion are Alan and Inez Thompson. They are the foundation of our family.
Patriarch Alan Thompson, granddaddy, didn't say much but was very observant. He taught his children to share and not be selfish. Alan would tell the children, if you have an orange, split it among 5, or if you have $1, give each sibling 20 cents. Alan taught his children about quantity versus quality. Alan also told his children about that little pink tongue. It will get you in trouble every time. Alan worked at the University of Illinois as a landscaper and retired after many years of service.
Grandparents Edward and Sonia Thompson lived in Dublin, Mississippi, a small town where blacks and whites lived in 2 different sections of the town divided by a railroad track. Blacks were not allowed to live or visit the white neighborhoods. His grandparents raised 4 sons, Gentle, George, Monroe, and Jesse.
The family struggled to make ends meet, and there was limited job opportunity in Dublin. In 1925, Gentle and his brothers, except for Jesse, left Dublin, Mississippi, and settled in Maywood, Illinois. Gentle landed a job at the Richardson Company. Gentle worked on the assembly line, packaging batteries. He worked there for approximately 30 years. Gentle met a beautiful lady named Hattie. In 1930, they were married. Hattie gave birth to their son, Alan, on January 2, 1931. The couple had their second child, Donna, on March 28, 1933. They moved from Maywood to Chicago in 1930 to their home at 3838 South Wabash. He was later killed at his home by a neighbor on February 23, 1957 over $1.50 while playing a crap game. The neighbor was arrested and later released due to self-defense. His wife, Hattie, died 5 years later in February 1962 of cancer. The matriarch, Inez Thompson. Big Mama always talked about love. She taught her kids to be there for each other. When one person falls down, be there to pick them up. Before her death, she told her kids to be there for their dad. She said he did the best he could do as a father. Inez, born on December 26, 1930 in Jackson, Mississippi, to the proud parents of Plessy and Lee Laws. Lee already had a son named Garfield Laws. Even though Inez had a big brother, she felt like she was an only child because of the age difference. Garfield passed away in 1987. Inez did not know much about her father's side of the family. However, on her mother's side of the family, Inez knew her grandparents' names were George and Ann Washington. George was a preacher man. They had 16 children. George was never a slave. He lived in his master's home. His master was his father. Inez's mother was born in 1898 and died in 1935 from complication of locked bowels. Her father was born in 1870 and later died in 1942 of natural causes. After his death, Inez moved from Jackson, Mississippi to Chicago, Illinois in 1942 to live with her aunt, Ruth Holmes. Her aunt, Ruth Holmes, was a single mother with 1 son, Robert Lee Holmes. Ruth and her son lived near Inez's future husband at 3154 South Wabash. Both Ruth and Robert have passed away. It was an after-school program for teenagers. After school, teenagers went to the settlement house for activities. They learned how to make flowers, sew, and cook. The founder of the settlement house was Ada McKinley. It was located at 3200 South Wabash. Today it is known as the Community House. Before leaving the settlement house, the boys and girls would take turns carrying each other on their backs down the stairs. Inez did not have anybody to carry her down the stairs because her boyfriend was in school, and Alan did not have anybody to carry down the stairs because his girlfriend lived across town. So they took turns carrying each other down the stairs. That's how Inez and Alan met. Alan Thompson and Inez Laws fell in love and got married in 1949. They had 5 children, Alan, Teresa, Gerald, Carol, and Anita.
Alan and Inez lived with Inez's aunt, Ruth Holmes. They had to move a year later because ITG Technical School bought the property and demolished the homes on that block. They moved, and it was a full house. 1950, Inez learned that her father, who raised her for 12 years, was not her biological father. While growing up, Inez always wondered why she looked different than her dad. But he was the only father she had ever known, and he always treated her good, as a father should. biological father was Ernest Epps. Ernest's parents were William and Ann Epps. Ernest had searched for his daughter Inez for years, but he was unable to find her. Before he passed away, he asked his daughter Katie to find her. Ernest died in March of 1949. It was determined to find her sister, so she contacted a friend back home who knew the family. When Katie met Inez for the first time, Katie informed Inez that she also had a brother named Adam Epps. They called him A.D. Sister Katie had a son and daughter who also lived here in Chicago. Their names were Ernest Wilson Jr. and Letitia Allison. Katie, A.D., Ernest, William, and Ann have passed away. In 1955, Alan and Inez separated. They could no longer live together but remained best friends. Inez had to seek public aid for dependent children after her separation. During that time, public aid for dependent children had strict rules.
In 1964, Inez no longer needed assistance from public aid. She was employed by Superior Coffee and Tea Company as a key punch operator. Later retired, she worked for the public school district as a teacher aide. In 1971, they finally divorced due to Inez purchasing her first home. This was her biggest dream, to move from the projects at 1440 West 14th Street and buy a home. Big Mama's dream came true. Inez and her children moved to a new home at 548 North Laramie Avenue. Inez passed away in December of 1997. 4 years later, Alan passed away in November 2001.